Okay, so what I found out there, and why I said oh snap, is that I was looking at my live, and I was streaming live on TikTok, but my whole LinkedIn family and everything wasn't in there for whatever reason. So that's on me. So if you're just now joining, what would you do if I told you that you can build $1 million business and you can do it in 12 months? Would you believe me? Could you do it? Would you believe me? Would you believe in yourself? Is it even possible? And today we're learning about the tools, everything that you need to build $1 million business, the tools, the systems, the messaging, the strategy that separates the dreamers from the doers. So I apologize, LinkedIn family. I will apologize to you because this actually went live like 5-10 minutes ago, but for whatever reason you was left out in the equation. So I'll make sure the recorded version, if I have the recorded version, we'll chop that up and we can send that back out, or you can just reach back out to me later, and then we'll stream you back up, or we'll get you back into it. So anyway, thank you for your patience. I apologize, LinkedIn family, that wasn't streaming. So now you're back in here. Let's get into it. So right now we're on the. Was there questions right there on TikTok? Okay, we're good. No questions. We're good, family. All right. So what we're getting in our tool and tech stack right now. So your tools and your tech stacks help you amplify your reach and your growth and do it quickly. We went through Google Suite. We talked about Shopify. We talked about your payments, which is Stripe, PayPal, Venmo, QuickBooks, whatever you happen to use for that. We talked about your newsletter. If you're setting up a newsletter, there's Kit, Substack, MailerLite, Beehive. There's so many different wonderful platforms out there. You can decide which one is right for you. Generally speaking, they all come with somewhat of a cost. So we need to think about your budget and investment for that. And then as you're an entrepreneur and you're like, I'm a full-time hustler, I do this full-time, I want to add a podcast as well. We're talking about there's Apple, there's Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube. There's so many different platforms for hosting your podcast. Each one of them kind of offering very similar things. And then there's also some platforms that allow you to post your podcast on one platform and you can stream it across the rest of them as well. That's kind of what I do. Thank you, TikTok family, for joining. You've been with me the whole 20 minutes at this point, LinkedIn family. I apologize to you. Hey, but we're getting into the meat and potatoes of how do we grow $1 million business and how do we do it in 12 months. The other thing too is you kind of need to think about is what's your social channels? Like what channels do you resonate the most with? What channels is where you're going to find your ICP, your ideal customer profile? What channels is going to allow you to have the most amount of reach? What channels do you like using the most that you feel like it speaks to you or is the easiest amount of use for you? Two channels that really come to mind for me is LinkedIn. LinkedIn for me is one. If you follow me across LinkedIn today, I have about 30,000 followers. That's going to constantly grow. And I spent some time doing it. I've done it over a few years that I've been growing my LinkedIn. But the reason why LinkedIn is so good, if you're thinking about growing your business, growing your personal brand, is only because everybody on LinkedIn already has that mindset that they're professionals, that they're looking to spend. And so it's already built in. People have that mental mindset that, you know what, I would like to purchase from somebody if it makes sense on LinkedIn. Whereas you look at some of the other channels like Instagram, TikTok, those are more about I wouldn't say educational, but a lot of times on there, a lot of people just like to browse. And what we want to do is we want to take people from browsing to actually buying, right? Because that's how we're building our business. How do we make people buy? And I'm not saying get away from those platforms because I have the space on each one of those that I mentioned as well. I'm just saying know which audience actually moves the needle when it comes to making an investment in you and making an investment in your business as well. A lot of people like myself, I use these platforms just to build a personal brand outside of LinkedIn. And then I use LinkedIn for my networking, collaborating, and then also, for people investing in not only my skills, but my products as well. Okay. So we're still on your tools right there. You got LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. The other thing you need to look at is, nowadays, if you're going to be growing this $1 million business, you're going to do it in 12 months. You need to also consider your video editing tools that you're going to be using. Some of the tools are going to be like Adobe Premiere Pro. You have Final Cut. You have CapCut. You have Edits, which is more of an Instagram type feed edits. I use a combination of all these for different reasons. If we're looking at short form video, then there's also Opus Clips, right? If we're looking at short form videos, I'm looking at Opus Clips. I'm looking at CapCut. I'm looking at Edits on Instagram. But if we're looking at that long form content, then I'm probably going to go to Adobe Premiere or a Final Cut Pro, where I can go in there and I can make additional edits behind the scenes. That's going to give me some greater tools that I can use as well. So as we're building this $1 million brand, you want to think about your video editing software, because no matter what you do as a business, at some point you're going to need some kind of video editing, because your messaging has to, generally speaking, extend beyond what's written. A lot of people want to buy from you when they can see your face, they can resonate with you. They say, oh, this person looks just like me, his messaging sounds like mine, or this is someone I want to emulate from a business standpoint. So I think it's so important when you include video as part of the way you not only network, but you grow your personal brand and your business. So all those tools are going to be matter. And then some of these tools carry a cost. Like, again, we're building $1 million business. If you're going to build $1 million business, we have to have the tools and automations in place. So generally speaking, what that means, we're spending money before we're making money. And I would encourage you not to spend too much money, but just the right amount of money that's going to help you amplify your brand and grow. Like Google Suite is like $20 maybe. You got all these Stripe, PayPal, Venmo. There's a lot of free accounts on those, but then there's also some amplified versions where you can get to some premium subscriptions. Your newsletters, some of these newsletters are free if you have a certain amount of subscribers, but then as you grow past that, then there's going to be the paid versions. You need to look at that. Some newsletters actually takes a piece of the cut from things or services that you, products and services that you sell. And then there's some of them that you're already paying in advance upfront costs where they're not taking any fees from you. So you want to take some time to educate yourself on which particular one is for you. And then all the editing softwares, most of them have free versions as well. But as you grow and you're going to do more things with that, those are, generally speaking, there's going to be a higher level of cost for those as well. So I see my family's joining. Thank you guys for joining on TikTok. Listen, if you just joined on LinkedIn, I apologize for not ever going live with you guys. We had been talking for about 7-8 minutes before you joined, but that'd be great to find out your first name, where you're from. And then if you want to slide in my DMs because you have any questions, please feel free to slide in my DMs, and then we can connect after this. So let's move on here. The next one is we're going to move on to, we talked about tools and tech stack. We talked about the 5 core pillars that you're going to need in your business, which is the tools and your tech stacks, your systems and automations, your messaging, your branding, your networks and your collaborations, and then your ad spend and your growth accelerators, right? So those are your 5 core pillars. But now if we look at the systems and automations, you're thinking, well, Pat, didn't you already cover all those systems and automations? The answer is no. There's more that we need to talk about. And when we talk about your systems and automations, what these allow you to do is push out or communicate your finished product, right? So a lot of people, you've heard the word batching, content batching. All that means is you spend some time one day of the week and you're thinking through the week, what exactly is my messaging going to be about, right? What do I want to communicate this week? What am I going to focus on? And then you sit down and you make sure it's already planned for the rest of the week. So that's content batching. And then you already have your specific times that's going to push out. Your email sequencing. If you're not using email sequencing to build your $1 million business, this should be part of your strategy, is making sure it's one thing that you have followers. That's great. But don't just have followers. What you want to do is you want to invite your followers to engage and connect with you in some type of way where you're able to collect their information, whether that's their phone number, whether that's their email address. And I think it's so important because emailing still works. So we want to look at creating an email system. And as we grow this business, to $1 million, I will get into the tips, the tactics, and the systems specifically. What does it look like? What is the email system? What is the messaging? Things like that. What does my schedule look like? Today is really high level. The last 2 days, probably all this week is going to be really high level informational, getting you going, getting you to understanding how we set the foundation to grow $1 million business. Hey, I see you. Joy, thank you for tapping in all the way from Nigeria. Thank you. What's up, family? Sidebar. I found this out April of last year. I did one of those like ancestry DNA tests. I found out your boy's Nigerian. Like, I didn't even know that. Like 70% of my makeup was like Western African. I was like, what? Your boy, man, listen, if y'all see me come in different garbs and I'm tapping into my Nigerian heritage, y'all know what it is because your boy's Nigerian. But anyway, that was a sidebar. But thank you for joining from Nigeria. I appreciate that. So we're getting into our systems and automations. This is going to be your finished product. Content batching. We talk about email sequencing. Thank you, TikTok family. I see the love coming in. And then social scheduling. How are we scheduling our messages? What do we talk about? And then the other thing too is a big thing is your DM automations. You never heard the word DM, that's direct messaging. All it is sliding in somebody's inbox, right? We want to slide in their inbox with your message related to your business. It's not talk about, hey, you look cute today, which there's a lot of cute people out there. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm trying to grow my business to $1 million and I'm trying to do it in 12 months. So part of my strategy needs to be that DM automation strategy. There's so many different tools for that. You got ManyChat, you have Tableau, you have LinkedIn, you have Klaviyo, there's Hootsuite. All of these allow you to not only do your DM, but do some lead nurturing as well. Yep, exactly. I'm saying the same thing. Your boy's Nigerian, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you for tapping in. Yeah, just found that out last year. So two things that I'm doing too when we're talking about systems. There's a couple of systems that I'm training right now to do automations for me. Now, as you tap into my newsletter, if you haven't tapped into my newsletter, if you're on the LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, top right-hand corner is my QR code. Right now on TikTok, for whatever reason, I don't have that set up. Go to my link in the bio. You'll see that little link. The first thing that's going to pop up is a newsletter. Subscribe to the newsletter because my second goal for the year is to grow my newsletter to 50,000 people. I can't do it unless you're signing up and growing. So get in there, sign up in there, and I'm going to be dropping not only the insight that I'm giving you here, but also be sharing the specific tools that I use to grow my business to over $1 million in revenue and do it in 12 months. But there's two tools that I'm using right now to set up my automations that have helped me out tremendously. There's an additional tool that I'm using right now on LinkedIn that helps amplify my engagement across LinkedIn. Let me tell you this, family. If part of your strategy is to grow your brand, right, alongside growing your business, something you need to do that was frustrating for me is you have to engage just as much as you share. And what that means is you can't put out content and expect people to like and share your content, but you're not doing the same thing. In fact, I would give you the rule, you probably need to do it 80% more than what you actually share. Meaning if you're sharing one piece of content, you need to be probably engaging, liking, commenting at least on 4, 5, or 6 other people's content for that one piece, if not more, right? There's a whole strategy behind that. Slide into the DMs. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter. I'll be breaking down a lot more of that as well. Some of the tools that I'm using to amplify my reach and to grow my particular brand as well. So if you're looking at me today and you just joined, you're like, well, who are you? 30,000 subscribers on LinkedIn today, 70,000 on Instagram, 30,000 on YouTube. And these numbers are just numbers. They mean absolutely nothing because we're building our business to $1 million. I need these people to act on my behalf, to act on their behalf, to want to get into the newsletter, to grow alongside of me as well, right? So that's one piece. But what I found out is through engagement, I'm able to reach so many more people just by putting out one piece of content, but engaging with 15 or 20 other people. So a lot of the people that join me today across my channels, I've engaged with you at some point. Or if I haven't engaged with me, it's probably because I haven't seen you pop up in my feed. And once I get you to pop up in my feed, then these are the people that I like to engage with as well. So that's so important. So let me see, systems and automations. I think we're good at there. I want to move on right here to messaging, copyright, and brand voice. So my brand voice, when you're thinking about building $1 million business, and we're doing this from scratch, people want to know who are you, what are you about, what do you have to offer me, and these are your products and solutions, and how do you actually speak to me? Because we're trying to attract our ICP, our ideal customer profiles, right? So my brand voice, if you look at my brand voice, is very bold, it's unfiltered, and I'm unapologetically, authentically me. Okay. I don't really cuss a whole lot, even though I am a military guy, and we know military people, we enjoy cussing. But in my writing, I don't generally cuss a lot. Every now and then I may throw in a word, but I speak directly to people, meaning my content is designed to touch you in such a way on a personal level that it's not directed at the masses, it's speaking to someone. And generally speaking, when I write my content, I'm writing my content like I'm speaking to my younger self. what would I tell my younger self? So in my content, I speak to myself and I hope it resonates with other people that are on a similar or the same path as me. So when you think about your content, you think about your brand, you think about your visibility, if it doesn't speak to you, then you're probably not going to reach your target audience. All right. So that's my tip for today. Make sure you're writing, you're speaking, you're doing your content in your brand voice. This will help amplify your reach, your messaging, but also connect with your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile, right? So mine is, I got the newsletter Hustling 25/8. I carry the hustle mentality. That doesn't mean we're going to struggle and hustle all day long. It just means we're strategically placing ourselves in situations and positions to allow ourselves to reach our goals or the milestones that we have for ourselves. So that's what hustle is about for me. Hustling 25/8. That's just a play on words. This translates across all my channels because I carry that same mentality. In fact, a lot of the content that I drop is very similar across channels, except for LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you're going to find a lot of my writing. And I actually love a lot of the work, the blog work that I do, because it speaks to me, but it helps carry my brand. That's what allowed me to have so many awards and recognitions over the last couple of years, only because of my writing. So I use LinkedIn for that. And then I use my other social channels for my videos, YouTube for long form. You got Instagram and TikTok for your short form. You got LinkedIn for your writing, your DMs, and all things like that. So I think it's important to understand what's your messaging, what's your copywriting, what's your brand voice. That's going to allow you to reach your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile. Okay. So we always want to think about that. Okay. We are live right there. I'm going to be wrapping this up here in a minute. I got a couple of more things and then I'm going to get you guys out of here. Networking and collaborations. If we're going to build and grow $1 million business and we're going to do it in 12 months, it's so important that we understand how to network and collaborate with people that can help us grow and amplify our messaging as well as our brand. A lot of people think this has to be paid, and it doesn't specifically have to be paid. A lot of this could be free, meaning you're looking at collaborating with people who are on the same or similar path as you, who have the same vested interests as you, who's on that same hustle as you. And the only thing you're simply doing is sliding into their DM and saying, hey, listen, Pat, I see you on this journey. I would love to be a part of it. Let's see if we can identify a way to collaborate with one another. That starts the conversation. From that conversation, you're looking at synergies, meaning what do they have to offer versus what you have to offer? How can you guys partner with one another? And then in that partnership is where we can amplify our brand as well as our reach, and to include some products and services. So we always want to have this part of your strategy, networking and collaboration. You got to have those right partnerships, whether it's leaders, coaches, entrepreneurs, or recruiters, whoever that happens to be, that's part of your ICP group, to amplify your reach as well as your credibility. For me, last year, I spent all last year just expanding my networking, whether that was podcast guests, I had co-hosted webinars, I was part of other people's podcasts, I was part of other people's articles, I did newsletters with people, ambassador programs, like for instance, I used to donate blood for Carter Blood Care for 17 years here in the Metroplex. All those are things that I do that help amplify my brand as well as my reach. Understand this, networking is transactional. If you're thinking, hey, I'm going to network with somebody and you're not going to give anything back to them, then you're doing networking 100% wrong. Network is transactional. It's what's in it for them. And you need to be thinking of that. What can I bring to them that's going to help them? And then in return, they will think about what can I do for you that's going to help you. So networking is transactional. You need to be thinking about that. It's about building real relationships that create mutual value. So that's how you need to be thinking of networking. What's a real relationship that I can create mutual value. So one of the things I'm going to be focused on to build my $1 million business is identifying who out there. Maybe you're watching this stream and maybe you're not watching the stream, but you need to slide in my DM if you think there's a mutual opportunity for us to work together to grow this $1 million brand. Remember, it's transactional. So what that means is you have to be bringing something to me, and likewise, I'm going to be bringing something to you so we can collaborate on something. Again, my newsletter's open. Sign up for my newsletter. I'm trying to reach 50,000 people. If you're not there, you're not going to get some of these behind-the-scenes tips and tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you as well. Robert, I see you popped in. Thanks for popping in. Robert popped in from Austin, Texas. I see you, fam. Thank you. Let's move on. So networking collaboration is going to be so important. If that's not part of your strategy, make it part of your strategy in 2026. We have to collaborate and network with as many people as possible. Because if you're trying to grow your brand and your business services by yourself, you're missing out on those opportunities of people that are already operating your space, people that maybe are ahead of you, like they've been there, done that, and you're just stepping into where they are. Those are some of the people that we want to be networking and collaborating with. And we can talk about strategies for what you have to offer, what you don't have to offer, and some of the DMs that you can use to help create those connections. But I had a lot of networking and collaboration in 2025. I expect to continue to do that in 2026 to grow this personal brand and this business to over $1 million in 2026. So we're going to move on really quick, and I'm going to be wrapping up here in a little bit on my TikTok family, continuing on with my LinkedIn family. This is going to be your ad spend and your growth acceleration, right? This is another piece of the puzzle when we're building this $1 million business. How much money are we spending? What growth accelerator tools are we using? It has to make sense. 6, 7. It has to make sense, right? Maybe it's 2025, but I'm still using it because my little girl uses it and it's so adorable and I love watching her use it. So I want you to be honest with yourself about your current ad spend. For me, if I look back in 2025 and I looked at how much money I actually spent on ads, last year I maybe spent, collectively, maybe $1,500, $2,000 for the whole year is what I spent. This year, I expect to spend somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 per month on ad spend. Why am I spending that amount of money? Am I saying you need to spend that much money? No, I'm not saying you need to spend that much money. But I'm actually going to be spending that money because it's going to help me reach the type of people that I reach at the time frame that I need to build $1 million business. And at some point, depending on the revenue that we have coming in, we may actually amplify that as well. And that may grow to, $5,000 or $10,000 a month. But right now, I'm like you, my check-ins and savings, it ain't check-ins and saving the right way, right? So with that being said, I need to start generating money to actually reinvest back into my business. So I want to grow my ad spend. So my target right now is between 2,000 and 4,000. We'll see if we can do that for the first 2 to 5 months. And then after we generate some more revenue, we can double that, which is going to help me create a greater impact, a greater reach across multiple platforms as well. So last year, I probably spent, again, $1,500 to $2,000 last year. And we could talk about what exactly those was. But why is that so important? A lot of people don't understand this, and I want to help hip you to the game. When you drop content on any one of these channels and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get reach, generally speaking, you're not going to get reach. Because what happened is when you drop that content, first it goes within a 50-mile radius of where you live. And you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go viral. No, you're not going to go viral. You're probably going to go within 50 miles where you live. So what do you need to do? How do we get our content from here to here? That's where boosting comes into place, right? And you see it all the time, whether Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, any of these channels that offer boosting. Remember, these organizations are for profit. And what that means is they make money by selling you stuff. And because they're for profit, they don't want to help little old you out if you're not helping them out. You invest into them, they invest in you. So if it's not part of your strategy, it needs to be part of your strategy. How do I amplify my reach? It's going to be networking. The other thing is boosting your messaging, right? So you're going to have to spend money on ads, boosting directly on the platform. The other thing too is we're going to be looking at Google Ads. High intent, we're using keywords right there, specific to your audience, specific to your brand, specific to the products and solutions that you have. So Google Ads is going to be part of that. We can also look at, even LinkedIn, they're in the game now, right? They're owned by Meta. Now they got LinkedIn ads. They got LinkedIn boosting. These are to reach your decision makers. Then there's other things too. Maybe you have a business website and you get business traffic that comes to your business website, which is dope. Kudos to you. But there's so many people that frequent your site. They come to your website and they check out your page and they look into some of your products and then they disappear. Well, what happens with those people? They express some type of interest, but we didn't do anything with them. Well, this is where retargeting comes into place. When people go to your website and then all of a sudden they left your website and then maybe an hour later you reach back out to them. This is all automated and said, hey, I saw you express interest in this, and maybe you're approaching them from a different angle. But that's should be part of your strategy as well, retargeting, right? So you've probably seen it firsthand. You probably went to Amazon. You looked at something, you put something in your cart, then you decide to delete it. And then, 2 hours later, Amazon pops back up. Hey, we saw you was looking at this, right? You seen that, and then you go ahead and proceed to make your purchase. That's retargeting, right? So that should be part of your strategy to grow and build to $1 million business as well. So we got LinkedIn ads, we got boosting, we got Google ads. All of this is designed, but you need to focus on the ROI, that's the return on investment. We don't want to spend money just to spend money. And I see this is where a lot of business owners get stuck. They spend money, then they didn't have the type of impact that they needed. So they stop spending altogether. And then their business is not actually growing. It's actually declining. And you only have a small group of people that you work with. So we have to spend money to make money. You've heard that before, right? Broke money don't make money. You can't go Vegas and want to gamble, but yet we're scared of losing money. Stop gambling altogether if you're afraid of losing money. Same thing with business. We want to grow our business. We want to make money. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to boost. We're going to LinkedIn ads, Google ads, all those, but we want to track our ROI. So I want you to approach this with this mental mindset, knowing that I'm going to have to learn a thing or two to strengthen, to get better at my ROI when it comes to ad spending. So you want to try a couple of different ads. Some of it may be the messaging. Some of it may actually be the illustrations. Some of it may actually be the video. Some of it may actually be your call to action. Whatever that is, you got to continue to tweak and edit that to amplify your ROI, which is the return on investment. Okay. And I'm about to wrap this thing up really quick. Pause really quick. I've been talking quite a bit. I'm going to take a sip, drop some questions if you have some questions. I've kind of been out there on my TikTok family. There's a lot of people that's joined. Hey, I see you. I can't mention all the names that you're on there, but it's growing quite tremendously. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you're getting out of this, a lot out of this. My LinkedIn, YouTube family, I see you there. Sorry, Instagram, for whatever reason, we couldn't get that thing set up. So I'm going to come back with Instagram. We'll come back on this tomorrow. But all this week, I'm going to be breaking down the game of how do we grow $1 million business and do it in 12 months. Now, know this, I cannot do it without your help. This is not a one-way street. This is a two-way street. I'm looking for people to network with. I'm looking for people to collaborate with. And then I'm also looking for some of those people who are interested in investing in their businesses. Okay. So I'm going to put myself out there. The rules of the game when you're growing a business from $0 to $1 million is there are no rules. So if you're one of those people, you're thinking, I'm gonna build a business, I'm gonna play it safe, it's gonna be dress right res, I'm gonna follow these steps exactly, and you're not growing, it's only because you haven't got out of your own way. And I'm trying to get out of my own way here because there's people who like what I have to say, who want to invest in what I have to say. And I invite those people in. If you want to invest, I'm going to make sure you slide in my DM. You let me know. In my newsletter, I'm going to be setting up a portal where specifically you can invest in me, whether that's a small donation or you want to purchase some of the products or services that I'm going to put out there as well. So there's no wrong way to build $1 million business. In fact, I can't do it without you. So I'm always going to need your support. Sign up for the newsletter. And then if you want to financially invest as well, you can do that as well. So let me wrap this thing up really quick. Thank you, TikTok family. I see you. Thank you, LinkedIn family, for joining. Tomorrow, again, we're going to be doing this all the week. These only 30-minute segments. I've probably ran a little bit longer. I'm like at 45 minutes on TikTok, only because my LinkedIn family just came on board. But tomorrow we'll probably get into diving into the revenue streams. How we making money from our newsletters, how we make money from our Shopify, how do we make money from our services, how do we make money from our digital products? Because all that's going to be important as we're growing our brand and we're growing this $1 million business as well. Thank you, TikTok family. Okay, so in recapping really quick, today we learned about the 5 core pillars: tools in your tech stacks, your systems, your automation, your messaging, your brand voice, your networking and collaborations, your ad spends, and your growth accelerators. Your tools in your tech stacks, we talked about Google Suites. We talked about your payment processing systems, your whatever newsletters you want to be on, whether or not you're going to do a podcast, where to stream those podcasts. We talked about virtual assistants. Here's one thing too, tip. If you haven't trained a virtual assistant yet, I would tell you to go and train a virtual assistant. All that means is you go identify an AI that can help grow with you, to help not only amplify your reach, but take some of that workload off you, some of those repetitive tasks. So you want to get it training your AI as well. So we talked about that. Then systems and automations. You cannot, and I'm going to stress this, you cannot grow a business to $1 million if you don't have proper back end system set up. So that's all it means. They're thinking about the tools that's going to help you amplify your reach and your messaging. So for me, we're talking about batching. We talked about email sequencing. We talked about your DM content. There's a 30, 60, and 90-day content strategy around that. We talked about how do you nurture your leads? How do we move them through the process? And then your sales strategy, how to set all that stuff up, messaging and copyright and brand voice, speaking to people in your brand voice, allowing people to resonate with you so we can identify our ICP, which is our ideal customer profile. All that's going to be important. And then networking and collaboration. Make sure you understand networking and collaboration is very transactional. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. So understand what's in it for them, what's in it for you. And then lastly, your ad spend and your growth acceleration. Listen, family, I'll thank you for joining once again. I appreciate your time and attention. If you haven't yet, I can't do this without you. So I'm going to invite you to sign up for my newsletter. Top right-hand corner is my QR code. If you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, if you're on TikTok right now, go into the link, my link in my bio, and you click on that link, it's going to pull up my Blink account. It has all my information in there. And so is this QR code right here. It has all my information in it. It has my phone number. It has all my social channels. It has my newsletter. The most important thing for me is not really the follow, which I value your follow, is to sign up for the newsletter. I'm growing $1 million business. I need 50,000 subscribers. I can't do it without you. Share this with somebody else as well. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. We're going to do it at noon. For whatever reason, I pressed 12:10. I'm not sure why I did that, but noon Central Standard Time, we're going to be back and we're going to get into another segment on how do we build and grow $1 million business. I would like to thank you once again for everybody that's joined. Until next time, hey, let's keep hustling. Let's get it.